Equestria Dead Tree, Chapter 2. A relic thrown violently back into the world. And shut up, Angelica! Without saying anything, Nyota and Buddy got up right against the door with Alguacil and Chifundo. And I should really just use the right freaking words. Without saying anything, Nyota and Buddy got up right against the door while Alguacil and Chifundo? I don't think that's his name. Without saying anything, Nyota and Buddy got up right against the door while Alguacil and Chifundo I just cannot get past that frickin' word. The box opened up a pair of holes in the sides, and 2 single-shot shotguns popped out and fired. There wasn't a scream or anything in response to the massive bang of those 2 rounds. The only sound beyond the door was a splatter echoing afterward, and this sickened to my guts, and I didn't use the right words there. I brandished the pump action in my hooves and leveled it into the mole rat, and quickly, reflexively activated my sats, and I used too many words there. More importantly, time seemed to have slowed down, and I could think and process more quickly. Glad that happened at the end of the line. I heard myself scream, my voice muffled by the gun trigger in my mouth. The trigger pulled with the release of sats. The mole... Yeah, I did read that right. I just had to second-guess myself, of course. I dropped the shotgun and ran forward at full speed. I looked at my pip-bug for the inventory in my backpack, and thankfully it showed I had a bandage, and I had more than one bandage. I have bandages. The impact of the recoil drove the stock into my mouth and shoulder with a pain I swore I felt before. And I keep forgetting a word there. I dropped the shotgun and ran forward at full speed. I looked at my pip-bug inventory and phooey, I keep stumbling on that one. I could see several bits of food everywhere, as well as a total of 5 dead mole rat bodies. Well, what I had assumed, and doesn't help that my dog is shifting around on his chair and making noise. Buddy said, practically brandishing a slice of dripping mole rat flesh at me, and I have no idea what I just said. A few minutes I thought about it and shrugged. It was only logical. The left was something. All the others quietly discussed my suggestion amongst themselves. I took this moment to what, huh? Not sure if we were friends yet, but this gave me some information to keep with... Phooey. Not sure if we were friends yet, but this gave me some information to keep up with them in the dark, and I keep stumbling over keep. And get moving we did. For the first half a dozen steps we took down the hall. Things were fine, and I paused too long there. It hadn't moved, and it took a moment for me to realize that the pony... What, huh? I can't talk tonight. I dashed past Chifundo and looked around the corner, and I didn't look, I just went around it. It hadn't moved, and it took a moment for me to realize that the pony previously inside was missing, and I keep stumbling over that. It hadn't moved, and it took a moment for me fuck! I put the box over corners and gave her the best reassuring The dust in the room was heavy as the 6 of us trotted in slide? I didn't slide, and I walked in. Excitedly, I knocked upon the door without a second thought, loudly. I need to start this one over. I turned to look for my companions. I need to start this one over, too. This was followed by some ponies shouting through the door. At this point, the twitch in my eyebrow was matched in rhythm by the hitch of my oof. The anticipation was torture, but as he had a solid green mane and a long rusted saber in his maw caked with cold blood. It is cold, but it's also old. The other 2 shadows cried out in surprise and gave a yell of, and I need to do that again. The Pegasus's rusty saber clattered to the ground and slid right at my hooves with a metal uncloven bone clang as it stopped, and I should do that again. The Pegasus's rusty saber clattered to the ground and slid right at my hooves with a metal uncloven bone... Alguacil walked up to the struggling Pegasus and pressed his resolver? I don't know if that's what it's actually called. Alguacil walked right up to the struggling Pegasus and pressed his resolver to it. Why did I do that again? It's not a resolver, it's a revolver. Buddy declared. Unicorn pony clad in silver power armor exploding from the inside out, all emblazoned upon my flanks. And I think I stumbled on that. After staring down at the Pegasus for we looked at an elevator door to our right and We looked at an elevator door to our right and daylight coming from a set of double doors at the top of two. I was doing good on that and then I just flubbed. Once we moved into the open atrium-like room, Buddy tightened his grip on the rope around Spring Bonko? I don't know that he bonks, but he bronks. My soul ached for something good to come out of all of this, and Max is barking again. First, I could see heavy metallic treads as the storage room opened, and my kitty probably ruined that take. First, I could see heavy metallic treads, and my kitty ruined the take again. With his other talon, Alguacil leaped forward and slammed the switch in the opposite direction. The gate fell back down and sealed the entry bot on the... It's a sentry bot, not an entry bot. It is entering, though. My brain registered it as a missile from the sentry bot, and several pounds of... No, rounds, not pounds. Probably pounds of rounds. The eyeball continued to slide down my visor, hanging onto the edge by a few pieces of nerve endings, and my kitty ruined the take again. Buddy set me down and came out, and out came his claws, is the line. Several holes had been blown into it, and a tear was running down its center. It couldn't take another impact. Not I couldn't take another impact, though I don't think I could take any impacts. I turned to look back, seeing Nyota, Buddy, and Corners hard on my tail. Corners having left her box. I was doing so well. The right side of its treads were completely blown apart, with road wheels scattering and hunks of I have no idea what I'm trying to say now. The gun chamber exploded in his talon as the revolver cylinder was... The gun chamber exploded in his talon as the revolver cylinder was either not in place properly or had... Why do I keep fucking up on this? The minigun roared, and Corner's abandoned box was suddenly being riddled with holes. If she had been in there, Cat! Silly cat! Instead, the bullets shot through the box, embedding themselves into the grout behind the... Instead, the bullets shot through the box, embedding themselves into the grout tiles behind it. As Corners fired her shotguns mounted to her flanks with a bite on the bit from the... As Corners fired her shotguns mounted to her flanks with a bite on the bit in front of her mouth. Behind us there were a set of stairs leading out of this vault. More shots rang out as I read 25mm each E, and I didn't say that right. Buddy was still downrange near the sentry bot, closing to attack it with its claws. His claws, not its claws. It doesn't have claws, it has guns. Buddy looked back in time and jumped out of the way. I took aim again and activated SATs, and I stumbled over that. I could see the heavy round flying through the air. It lit a fiery... Really? I could see the heavy round flying through the air. It lit a fiery explosion as it slammed squarely on the death machine. There was a pause as the massive death trap stopped and began to make a much louder grounding noise. At that moment, staring down my sight, my tail shielded my eyes. A bright flash lit... There was a sudden loud warning from the crippled agent of destruction. There was a sudden loud warning sound from the... There was a sudden loud warning sound from the crippled agent of destruction. The world sped back up and Corners wailed in agony at the top of her lungs as the wave of flames washed over us. And that wasn't actually the line. He was covered in burns. Cuts scattered his body where his skin... Cuts scattered his body where his skin had been torn open. I chattered through my teeth, every glance at the horrific room. The faint ringing lingering in my ears was dead. I saw my reflection in his, my body covered in blood, gore, and soot. Soot? Not soot, soot. I logically followed his direction, still emotionally cut off. If I stayed any longer and I'd have a chance to think about our party's horrific wounds, I should do that again.